Today we are going to start the new topic hormone and glands function and feedback mechanism. So uh, we need to understand one thing that human body as a psychology student what is our major aim. We need to understand that how is the body controlled and how does it function. So uh, we have got two type of control system. One is nervous control and the other is hormonal control. We have different body systems, and one of the body system is endocrine system. So endocrine system refers to a system that is made up of many different glands that are present in the body. In our body, there are different type of glands. Maybe in junior grade, you have studied digestive system contain the glands that produce digestive juices which help to digest the food. But it is not the only gland that is present in the body. There are many other glands, and digestive glands are only meant for digestion. But there are many other glands releasing their chemical secretions, performing different jobs. So, in short, what is an endocrine system? Endocrine system is actually a system that is made up of many different glands. And what is the function of those glands? They produce chemical secretions. We need to be very specific. I think by now you have learned that biology required appropriate terminology. So we need to understand uh, a gland is actually producing chemical secretion. What is the name of those chemical secretion? These chemical secretions are known as hormones. So endocrine system is a system of glands, and these glands are producing chemical secretion. What is the name of those chemical secretions? What is the name of those chemical secretions?
Hormones.
These chemical secretions are hormones. Now, why hormones are being produced? Because they regulate the body growth. They play an important role in metabolism. Body growth, everybody know that the size, mass, and volume is increasing. Metabolism, there are many chemical changes that are happening in the body that counts in the metabolism. Any biochemical reaction that is happening in the body, in language of biology, we call it metabolism. So endocrine system are regulating the body growth. They are controlling the metabolism, means any biochemical reaction that is occurring in the body. And it is also a very important, its important role is the sexual development. Like we know that when a baby girl or a boy is born, so to a certain age they keep on growing and their reproductive organ do not get mature. At the age of puberty, their reproductive organs become functional and activate to perform to produce different type of reproductive cells. The male produces sperm. I'm talking about humans, and the female produce the egg cell or the ovum. So how these sexual organs develop, like it is not at random, it is actually controlled by different hormones. So if I summarize this slide, the endocrine system is a system of glands. These glands are producing chemical substance called hormones. These hormones are doing three major jobs: regulating the growth of body. They are regulating the metabolism, means biochemical, any physical and chemical changes occurring in the body. And it is also accountable, it is responsible for the sexual development and their function, how the reproductive organs will develop and how will they function. Okay. Then there is a big list of hormones, but uh, the glands and the hormones are selected as per your syllabus. So we will be discussing some major endocrine glands. In the previous slide, we discussed about the glands. Glands are the organs that are releasing chemical secretion. Now we are adding one new word, endocrine gland. Endocrine gland are basically ductless gland. Duct is a word that we say means tube. If I draw here something, for example, this is a gland, this is liver. This liver produces different secretions, and if the gland do not have a duct or a tube and its secretions are directly passed into the bloodstream, we call such gland as endocrine gland. Okay. So in our syllabus, we are going to discuss different endocrine glands. What is the speciality of endocrine gland? They do not have any duct or a tube to pass their secretion to the target organ. So their secretion get mixed with the blood. So what are our target glands? Pituitary gland, thyroid, parathyroid gland, adrenal gland, pineal body, and reproductive organs. For males, we will discuss testes, and for female, we will discuss ovaries. Endocrine system is regulated by feedback mechanism. Like in before the midterms, we discussed the human nervous system, and we learned that how the different organs are functioning in coordination. So now we will learn that in our body there are different glands, and how are they operated. How does the body come to know that I am in emergency or panic mode? So it's high time to produce adrenaline, and now my panic mode is over, and it has to stop the production of the adrenaline. How my body will know that I just had my breakfast and I had a lot of carbohydrate in it, so insulin has to be increased. And now I have done a lot of work. I'm fasting today. I don't have enough amount of starch in my body. So insulin production has to be stopped. So this is a well communicated mechanism. Endocrine glands work in coordination by the process of feedback mechanism. Once the hormone is not required, the the gland is signaled that the hormone must not be produced. Am I clear? Am I clear, Beta?
Yes,
Yes,
miss.
Okay. Now we will discuss what are hormones. Hormones are basically chemical substances. Um, uh, these chemical substances, they are released by the cells or a gland, and they are sent to a specific cell where they perform their particular function. In upcoming slides, we will do more about it. But right now, what we need to understand, uh, hormone is basically, it's a chemical substance. It The cell that is releasing it is called as a secretory cell, or we can call it a gland. And then these chemical messengers, they reach to a specific cell. Okay, the place from which the hormones are being released. For example, this is a cell I'm talking about. If I can enlarge it. Okay, the cell that is releasing it, I call it a secretory cell. And the cell where the hormone is performing its job, we call it, what do we call it? Can you read it?
target cell.
Target cell. The cell that are producing the hormone are secretory cell. The cell where the hormone is performing its action is a target cell. Can you see very clearly on the surface of target cell there is some green color structure shown? These structures, what do we call these structures?
Receptor.
We call these receptors. Now try to understand. Right now, I am not in panic state. I'm completely relaxed, and I just had my breakfast. So at this point, I want myself to be mentally alert so that I can conduct my class. Okay, so I need the neurotransmitter, or I need such chemical substances which can activate which keep my brain activated. And at the same time, I also need insulin so that my excess glucose is being processed. So my body will produce many different hormones at the same time, right? But every hormone will do the function at specific cell. Why insulin do not work on reproductive organs, and why the testosterone or estrogen, these hormones do not act on the liver or pancreas or the muscle cell, because every every hormone binds to a specific receptor. Okay, if examiner give you a situation that explain that how hormones are specific to their target organ, so you will say that hormones bind to a specific type of receptor that are present on the target organ. That's why only a specific hormone can work on specific target organ. It is not a mismatch that a reproductive hormone is acting on muscle and like insulin is acting on reproductive organ. This is absolutely not possible. Am I clear? Am I
Yes,
clear?
miss.
Okay. Now we need to understand there can be four different scenarios. One is autocrine. Autocrine. What you can see, there is a secretory cell. This secretory cell is producing the hormone, and what we are noticing, this hormone is binding itself to the same cell. So this situation is known as autocrine gland. What is an autocrine gland? The gland is producing hormone. The hormone is binding to the receptor on the same cell and performing its job. Can you see it?
Yes,
Okay. In the second case, that is paracrine gland. What is paracrine gland? There is a secretory cell. There is a target organ. Can you see the two are different? There is a separate secretory cell. This secretory cell is releasing hormones. These hormones are binding to the receptors to the target cell. Okay, how the description of how the diagram of paracrine gland is different from endocrine. Can you notice something new, something different between paracrine and endocrine gland?
Blood vessels.
Yes, paracrine gland usually work on localized surface, like it usually work to nearest neighboring cell where the transportation of hormone do not require the blood. Okay, so paracrine gland usually work to very close cells. The paracrine gland will produce the hormones. The hormones will bind to neighboring to very close vicinity target cells. It bind to the receptor and do the metabolic action. But endocrine gland are far away from their target organ. Let me give you an example. A very well-known target organ, secretory cell is the pituitary gland. During menstrual cycle, pituitary gland produce two different type of endocrine hormones. Number one is follicle stimulating hormone. Number two is luteinizing hormone. The pituitary gland is in the brain, and the target organ is the ovary. Ovary is right in the lower abdomen. Is the brain and reproductive organ close or they are far away? Are the is the pituitary gland and ovary neighboring cell or they are far away in different parts of the body?
Far away.
Far away. So here comes the role of endocrine gland. The endocrine gland will produce their hormones.
Far
The
away.
hormones get mixed with the blood, and the blood will transport these hormones to the target cell. But there is something very common that we need to understand. Every cell which is acting as a target cell, it will have a specific shape receptors which can bind to the target organ. Okay, so let's discuss about autocrine hormone. Autocrine hormone, it signals, there are autocrine hormone, basically, it signals in tumors involving the cancer cell. It is not the only autocrine hormone. There are many other autocrine hormone, but I gave you a very simplest example so you can understand. The tumor cell produce autocrine hormone. Uh, they uh, as soon the hormone is released, there are receptors present on the same cell. The hormone bind to the receptor, and it cause the uh, uh, autonomic, like without any conscious control, rapid proliferation, like division of the cell, and metastasis, like this. The tumor cell divide repeatedly very fast due to the due to autocrine hormone that is released from it. The same cell is producing the hormone is binding to the same cell, and the rapid cell division is occurring. The the second case that we need to understand is the paracrine hormone. What is a paracrine hormone? Uh, they are also known as paracrine factor or local mediator. If you know the term paracrine hormone, this is also sufficient. Paracrine hormone are these are basically signaling hormones. Saida, I'll listen to you shortly after completing this slide. Paracrine hormones are signaling molecules. They act on the neighboring cell. We discussed in paracrine hormone, the secretory cell produce the secretion. For example, this is the signaling cell. This is the cell that is producing the hormones, and these hormones are binding to the neighboring cell. You can see the cells are in the close vicinity. They have a specific shape receptor from which the hormone is binding, and it is not this hormone does not require to be traveled with the help of the bloodstream. There are so many examples of paracrine hormone. As we are going to discuss human reproductive systems, I have picked one example from there. Testosterone is basically a hormone that acts as a autocrine hormone. It acts as a paracrine hormone. It also acts as an endocrine hormone. Testosterone can act in all three different ways. But in this particular slide, I'm talking about the role of paracrine, the role of testosterone as a paracrine hormone. This local paracrine signaling is strictly required for the sperm production. When testosterone is produced from testes. Testes are the male reproductive organ, and testosterone is the name of hormone produced from testes. So it bind to the neighboring cell, and it cause the process of sperm formation. The process of sperm formation is technical word is spermatogenesis. So if I quickly revise the previous two slides, the cell that release the hormone, they are called the secretory cell. The cell that bind to sorry, the cell that have the receptor and they bind to the hormone, they are called the target cell. There are two possibilities. Some cell bind to their own released hormone, they are called the autocrine hormone, and sometimes the cells bind to the hormone which are in the close vicinity, so they are called paracrine hormone. Yes, Saira?
This about paracrine, endocrine, we have also discussed earlier, right? When this long distance signal and local signal.
Yes, we are going to discuss it. Shortly, we are going to discuss it. Right now, I just want to emphasize that paracrine hormone do not require a longer distance distribution, so blood vessel is not involved. In upcoming slide, we'll discuss it. Is that clear?
Okay, miss. Thank you.
Okay. So now we have a slight knowledge of endocrine system. We need to understand the difference between nervous control and the hormonal control. The nervous control, the nervous system is obviously made up of different neurons. We just discussed the cranial nerves, autonomic nerve, parasympathetic system, sympathetic nervous system. So nervous system is made up of different neurons, while hormonal or endocrine system is made up of secretory cells. In nervous control, the transmission is in the form of electrical impulse, while in endocrine system, the transmission is in the form of chemical substances, or these chemical substances are actually hormones. In nervous system, the transmission pathway required nerve fiber, like the electrical impulse pass from one neuron to another neuron along the nerve fiber, while in hormonal control and very specific, C in bracket endocrine system is written. I am talking about the transmission of hormone to a longer distance. So here, endocrine system require the blood plasma. The nervous control transmission is very fast. For example, if a pin prick to your finger, so instantly you will realize that your uh, that something is pricked to your skin surface. While hormonal or endocrine system speed of transmission is uh, slightly slower compared to nervous system. It doesn't mean that if you are in panic state, you will take longer time to respond. But if I compare the nervous control speed to a hormonal control speed, think in a way that when there is a stimulus is basically change in the surrounding. We discussed reflex action and we discussed about it when a mother hears a crying baby. So first the stimulus is received, mother hears the crying baby, and then the adrenaline is released from her adrenal gland that get mixed with the blood, and then it cause the mother to respond. I don't mean to say that it will take too longer time, but if we compare the speed of nerve transmission, like we are sitting very far away at a distance, but as I say a word, you hear it because our nerves are involved in the in listening process, right? While the hormonal control require a little slower because the hormone is released from the secretory cell. It mixes with the target, it mixes with the blood, and then it reaches to the target organ. The duration of nervous uh, uh, control system is short-lived. A very common example: you had a pin prick. After a while, you will forget that something is even pricked to it because the nervous control effect is short-lived. While hormonal control effect is long-term, we can observe that the development of reproductive organ, it uh, it is a slow process. Like since the child is born till the puberty, there is a certain time duration at which the glands start to release a hormone, and once the reproductive hormones become active, their effect is long term and long lived. For example, menstrual cycle is for about 28 to 30 days. Okay. Then, if we talk about the nervous control, the effect is localized. Again, you think of the pricking of pin. So uh, it is affecting only one particular specific point of your body. But if we talk about the effect of reproductive hormones that are released at the time of puberty, so it has widespread effect. It affects the bone growth, it affects the muscle growth, it affects the formation of development of reproductive organ. They start to form reproductive cells such as uh, sperm and ova. Like one hormone is affecting multiple organs at the same time. So I hope you understood the difference between the nervous and hormonal control. If the meeting time gets over, you can rejoin with the same link uh, shortly. Okay. This is a slide. Now we are going toward more detail. The endocrine system, this diagram that is shown to you, this is also known as the body atlas. The examiner might give you this diagram with and might ask you to mention that what is the position of, you don't need to draw the gland, but you need to locate that what is the location of this particular gland. For example, pituitary gland is obviously in the skull, in the brain. Then thyroid gland is present at the base of the neck. Then adrenal gland is basically thyroid gland and parathyroid gland are close to it. This yellow one is the thyroid gland, and these darker spots, these are parathyroid gland. Adrenal gland is present at the top of the kidney. Behind this stomach, this oval shaped structure is basically the kidney. At the top of the kidney, adrenal gland is present. In the lower abdominal region of the female, the ovaries are present, and in the lower abdominal region the male, in the lower abdominal region of the male, testes are present. Why they have showed the stomach? Because on right side, on left side of the stomach is the pancreas. So we need to know the position of all different glands, where are they present in the body. Uh, the examiner might ask you the same question in two different ways. If it comes as a short question that maybe 2 mark or 3 mark, an examiner asks you the name of gland, the hormone that it produces, and the function, so you can write it briefly. But what if it is a detailed question of more than 3 marks? So we can explain the different hormones produced and their specific function. So we are going to do each of them in detail as well. Right now, a brief summary. Pituitary gland is present in the brain. We have learned the labelings of brain. It produces the growth hormone. It regulates the growth and control the function of other endocrine glands. Pituitary gland is also known as master gland. Why we call it a master gland? Because it not only produces its own secretion, it also trigger or stop the secretion of other glands to produce or stop production of hormones. That's why we call it a master gland. The second gland is the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland produces a hormone known as thyroxine. It controls the metabolic rate and bring balanced growth in the body. At the end of the topic, we will discuss that what is hypothyroidism, what is hyperthyroidism. Like if thyroxine is produced in too much amount, so the person will be extraordinarily tall, the tallest person on earth. Or if a person is producing very less amount of thyroxine, so you might have seen people that are adult but they have very stunted growth. So it is the abnormal secretion of thyroxine, like thyroxine is not maintained. Parathyroid gland produce uh, parathormone, and its main function is to regulate the calcium balance in the body. Calcium is just not needed for the bone development or bone density. It plays a very important role in muscle contraction. It plays a very important role in clotting of blood. It acts as a signaling molecule. So calcium regulation is very, very important. Adrenal gland that was present at the top of the kidney, it produces adrenaline and it prepares the body for emergency or panic mode. Uh, Pancreas produce insulin. Actually, pancreas is producing two different hormones. One is insulin, the other is glucagon, and they control and regulate the blood sugar glucose. If you just had your breakfast and you have plenty of glucose after 6 to 8 hours of digestion, so insulin will be released. What if you are starving, you are fasting, you did not have enough amount of glucose in your body? So in that case, the pancreas will produce glucagon to make sure that you do not get faint, you do not collapse, and this your body knock out or release stored glucose, so it is available for maintaining the body function. Maybe it feels that I am going in a hurry, but we are going to discuss each of these hormone much in detail, so don't worry about it. Testis testis is a gland that is present in males, and it produces a hormone testosterone. It is responsible for growth and development of male reproductive system. We just read that testosterone act like autocrine, paracrine, and endocrine gland. All three functions are done by the testosterone. Ovaries are um, ovaries are basically uh, the gland which produce estrogen, and this estrogen ovary actually produces two different hormones. One is estrogen, the other is progesterone, and both are there. These are the two hormones produced from it. It controls the growth and development of female reproductive system. Okay, just let me mark your attendance. Okay, now hypothalamus. Uh, on the slide, we discussed about the pituitary gland, but we did not discuss about hypothalamus. It is also a very important uh, part, and it acts as a neuroendocrine gland. Like it's a part of hypothalamus is not only the part of nervous system, it also acts as an endocrine gland. And remember, endocrine gland is the one which is producing the secretion. The secretion are mixing with the blood, and they are transported to all parts of the body. So if the diagram is given, you must be able to identify above this pituitary gland. This is hypothalamus. Now, what are the main functions of hypothalamus? How does it act like a gland? Hypothalamus release hormones into the bloodstream, which is defining it as a characteristic of endocrine gland. And as it is a dual nature, so we know that this hypothalamus is responsible to monitor the body temperature. Our wake and sleep cycle is also regulated with hypothalamus. Our heart rate and metabolism is also controlled with it. Examiner might give you I'm telling you two exam style questions. Maybe the examiner asks you that explain the dual nature of hypothalamus. So now the examiner wants that how it is acting as what is the role in nervous system, what is its role in endocrine system. So here is a list of nervous system part you already know, right? That it regulate the blood sugar, it regulates, it monitor the body temperature, it monitor the hunger and thirst, it monitor the carbon dioxide concentration. This is all you have already done. The new part is that how it is acting like an endocrine system. It produces six different type of hormones. The short forms are already given here, so you can take help from here, and it is really important. Sometime in MCQs, examiner give you these short forms and they ask you to complete it. Okay, so hypothalamus release thyrotropin releasing hormone. It stimulates the thyroid stimulating hormone. It Hypothalamus is releasing a substance